Hey, everybody, welcome back to Old World Legends, where we focus on growing the community. I'm your host, Mike, and with me, as always, is Evan.
Fourth place, Evan, I'll have you know.
That's really
Spoiler
impressive. That
alert.
is not easy to do, sir. Definitely winning these events. We have some really talented players, very competitive, and so you're getting closer to that podium placement. You're gonna get there soon enough. But that being said, really excited to walk you through our latest results. You'll see it in just a second. But Tomb Kings won, which is really exciting, and not with a mortuary cult list, which is
Ah, yeah,
also
that's
really
true.
exciting. We had the first time both a combination monster mash and big brick objective scenario list, which was really exciting to see how that performed.
Yep.
Interestingly enough, drew one of the games. Actually, our winner didn't win all his games. So this is one of those rare events where that happens. But again, on an RTT, it's totally possible. Players just keep knocking each other out, which is really exciting. So as always, let's see, we had this list last month. We were down, where were we this time? We were in Riverside, which was really exciting at
Yeah.
GMI Games. Fantastic to go there. Again, our goal is to go all around SoCal to support our local game store community. And so we're excited to go to GMI for the first time. Hopefully we get there again later this year. Great to work with the staff and have a really fun day. But let's dive into the lists, Evan. That's what everyone wants to know about.
All right, so Andrew was our best scoring player who did draw game
Hmm.
one. Um, remember, no kneeling. And he brought what he described as the Tomb King's monster match list. So there's two dragons. The first is the Tomb King on the dragon with the so basically just a basic sword of might. So just a +1
Hmm.
strength +1, AP1 kind of guy. He's got the talisman
Yep.
of protection and armor of the ages. So he's just hard to kill. That's just his
Yep.
situation. You bring a sword of might because you really don't want to be stuck fighting a Karen Wraith for the entire game where you can't do anything to ethereal. That sucks. That happened to me the other
Hmm.
day. It sucks. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Armor of
Yeah.
the Ages is almost always on take it on somebody on a dragon because it makes you reroll to wound. So if you ever get the monster slaying blow, or if you just want to roll sixes, it's just hard to wound. So lower strength things just bounce off you. That's great.
Great combo. Great
Yeah,
combo.
and you don't have very much armor anyway. So taking a light armor that does that, who cares, right?
Hmm.
You got a high priest here, a level 4, a bone dragon, serpent staff with illusion. Not that
Yeah.
far fetched either, because guess what? If you get doppelganger with your well, you have lore familiar, so you're getting doppelganger, right? And you have the serpent staff.
Hmm.
That's a pretty scary thing to fight in combat, and it's still an illusion wizard, so it still does
Yep.
great casting and great miasmic barrage. If you just show up and you say, I'm going to miasmic that thing, and I'm just going to charge everything into the other unit, that is
Hmm.
game winningly powerful. I think illusion
Or
is the strongest in the game for sure.
at the same time, sometimes you just charge two bone dragons into something, and it doesn't matter what it is. That is hard to deal with.
Yeah, and especially if it hits you with 12 hits with the serpent staff. And we also have one more little priest here, and he's just a guy carrying around Amulet of the Serpent to give somebody the big unit of skeletons, I assume, the poison. Because if they're
Yep. That's
not
my
royal
assumption.
host, you have to have a character to carry it around because the champion doesn't have enough points to do it. But the royal
Yep.
host skeleton champion specifically has 30 points of magic items, so he can buy it.
Yeah, but I don't think was this a royal host? I thought this was a
No, no,
grand.
no. I'm just saying that they very specifically tweaked
Oh
that
yeah,
one little
totally.
magic item
They
allotment
did
so that
that
the
on
royal host
purpose.
specifically could do that one sweet trick. Which
That was by
okay.
design.
Anyway, so he also has 36 skeleton warriors with spears.
Hmm.
Cool, and 23 archers. Cool.
Really good at holding objectives. I don't think
God, they're so
anyone killed that
cheap.
unit the entire day. Yeah, it's a tough to chew through that. And by the way, they bring them back, so very tough to chew through that. Hmm.
Yeah, they don't bring as many as you might think back. And you know what? I put into my lists a lot. I put in either template shooting now, or I'll put in a unit like, let's say, Wild Riders, Demigryph Knights, or something like that, that will just blend the crap out of 36 Skeleton Warriors. Because all you have
Yep,
to do is
as
kill
long as you don't
18.
worry about the other monsters.
Kill 18 in one round, the other 18 explode. It is amazing. You gotta try
Oh,
it.
it can be done. Absolutely,
My,
absolutely.
my favorite way that I did that once is that one of the times I played Andrew, I got Battle Lust on. Well,
Oh,
either I got Battle Lust or I just rolled the doubles on my Bestigor when they
mm,
charged. And so I charged him with Bestigor. I had the Beast Lord. The Beast Lord already had 9 attacks each because he had the Duelist Blades and he had rolled Gaze the Gods a few times. So he had 9 attacks. And then the Bestigor had 2 attacks each. And then I had the Bray Shaman. He charged in with his template, the teardrop one. It was amazing. I killed 20 skeletons, and the other 16 of them exploded. It was great.
Oh, yeah, that happens. All right, so big brick. What else does he have? Another
Three,
big brick.
yeah, 3 chariots. Guess what? The chariots can capture objectives because they have a banner and they have unit strength
They
5.
do.
So there you go. So you can have some reserve moving, warbow shooting, swift stride chariots to sit back and be like, I'm gonna hold the objective, and if you ever get too close to me, I'm gonna hurt you.
Yep, pretty good. Yep.
And like he said, the gentleman's one tomb scorpion. He was very
You can.
specific about the fact that he only brought one scorpion and kept reminding us that he only brought one scorpion,
Yeah, can't leave home without it. That's
even
kind
though
of
he
an
has
honor.
2 necrosphinxes.
Yeah, so he had two. So he had these big bricks sitting on the objectives for the objective-based scenario, and then threw at his opponent 2 bone dragons and 2 necrosphinxes. And again, he didn't win all his games. He did draw one of them, but some of his opponents were not ready for that level of monster mashiness that was coming at them, and able to deal with the objective holders at the same time. So it was really effective. And I got to say, Andrew is one of the best painters we have in the SoCal community. His army is absolutely gorgeous, and seeing those 2 bone dragons with the necro,
Yeah,
we have some great pictures in the Discord if you want to check them out. It looks so good. It was so
absolutely.
cool seeing this on the battlefield.
And for anyone who heard our objective-based scenario review and thought, "You silly people, now the only thing that's good is 2,000 infantry and all of my monsters and all of my artillery and all of my special characters, they're all worthless." This is an army that has 2 dragons. 2. It has 2 necrosphinxes. 2. That's 900 points of toughness 6 monster boy, and it just won this tournament that had objectives in it. So what does that tell you? It tells you that the same
Yep,
things that are good in a normal day are still good, and you can just have a little bit more fun with your other units. What's wrong with
absolutely
that?
cool. So yeah, congratulations to Andrew. Well done, sir. Well-earned victory. So, but let's move on. Let's talk about who came in second.
All right, so Jonathan came in second. He was playing Night Goblins. I played him in round 2 of this event. It was a very close, tight game. I did talk about it a little bit on the other time. He has the list we reviewed because he won first place last time.
He
It's
did.
exactly the same. He's got Night Goblin War Bosses on Squigs. They've got some durability items. He's got a Night Goblin War Boss on foot who's his general, who's just hanging
Mhm.
out. He's got the level 4 wizard with Wah Magic. I love that he takes Wah Magic. How do you play Orcs and Goblins and not bring Wah Magic? Beautiful.
Yeah, and
Love
he
it.
blew himself up in one of the games too,
In
which was
my
hilarious.
in the game versus me, he cast Foot of Gork because his wizard's hanging out by himself. He cast Foot of Gork 15 inches away, max range away. The Foot of Gork,
Yeah.
the Foot of Gork rolls the scatter dice and rolls like a 12-inch scatter directly
Oh
towards the
no!
wizard, bounces
Oh
through his own
no!
units, and then does 9 strength 5 hits to the wizard and kills him.
It was so funny.
I had no
It's
sympathy
so
for
funny.
him because he was in the middle of sending a bunch of random movers and fanatics through my toughness 3 elves, and I was very sad at the time.
The Fanatics had a great time. But yes, I think the main thing is Jonathan is a very skilled player. He's really mastering this list, really refining it with bunch of squigs, bunch of goblins. It's so cool to see it on the battlefield. It's well painted. He's getting very good at it. And again, before when there was no objective-based scenarios, when it was just the very killy meta, the list didn't have nearly as much play again, and he got second place this time, not first place. But it's great to see that this list has a lot more play now that there's opportunities for his big bricks of goblins to be scoring as many points as they can before the enemy army eventually gets to them and eats them up. So
Yeah. Well, what ended up happening was that he just runs all of these random movers and the squig herds, which the squig herds, as long as they have 5 guys left when they lose combat, they explode if they break from flee. So they have like leadership 5 or something. So of course they're going to break and flee, and then they just explode on you and do a bunch of strength 5 hits to your units that just killed them. That killed like 4 or 5 Shadow Warriors, I think, when one of them blew up on me, and then killed 3 White Lions when it blew up on the other unit. Ow.
yeah, squig panic.
And when they don't explode, when they just charge you, each squig has 2 attacks each with strength 5.
Yeah, squig's gone wild.
And they're
Love it.
10 points a model for a guy who has 2 attacks at strength 5.
Yeah, but he doesn't really have any defense. He doesn't really have any leadership, but it is amazing because night goblins and squigs are amazing.
Yeah, so this list is a very interesting situation where you just have a lot of damage dealing from a lot of individually cheap units. So if you lose 2 units a turn, you're fine. You're good.
Yep.
Because the other person's losing 2 units a turn too.
Oh, for sure.
So his general and the
Cool.
BSB go in the 30 Night Goblin blob here. They were trying to sit on the main objective, even though I put my woodland terrain feature down on it. So he had to go into the woodland terrain or into the difficult terrain feature, lose his rank bonus, and then sit there with leadership 6 from his war boss with
Mm-hmm.
no reroll. When I charged him with the dragon, he had to take a terror check, and
Mm-hmm.
he passed his leadership 6 terror check,
Yeah, go goblins!
and then he
Woo!
passed his leadership 5 break check because terror
Yeah,
minus
because
1.
goblins are awesome. That's why.
Yeah, he got insanely lucky with his very low leadership checks there. It was because it could have, if I was able to wipe them out with one turn with either the terror fail or the break check fail, I could have wiped them out and started eating up one unit a game. But instead, my dragon was pretty much the whole game just fighting 30 Night Goblins with the war boss in there. That was it. That was pretty much all he was
Huge.
doing.
Yeah, it could have easily swung the other way, but it didn't.
Yeah. In the meantime, he had these little cheap little bolt throwers who were just throwing the 2 damage shots at my chariots, which hurt, and then 10 Night Goblin squig herders or hoppers or whatever. These guys, they just random move into you with 3 attacks each, and they just mulch all of my archers because they can't stand a shoot versus this. Every volley that I had with arrows was just wiping a whole unit of these guys, or like 6 or 7 of them at a time. But then they just charge me, and I get no stand a shoot or flee, and I just get murdered. It was awful.
Well, squigs hopping around the battlefield, that's hard to hit, man. Yeah.
They're so cheap. Oh god, it's frustrating.
Goblins. That's
Yeah, and
amazing.
3 manglers. What else are you gonna do?
Mm-hmm. Love it. Cool. All right. So yeah, great job again, Jonathan. Well done, sir. I'm really excited to see the Night Goblin Squig Horde continue to do well. Hopefully, we'll see that pattern continue in the future. But I think people are going to start being more and more prepared to deal with the Night Goblin Horde in the future. So third place, right? We had congratulations to Michael Kelly. We didn't quite get his list submitted into BCP, but Evan, you could give us a high level. He brought his Demons of Chaos list, and in particular, and we'll cover it in a different episode. We're talking about the Old World Legends, what we call the R Legacy errata, because it's not a balance update; it's an errata tweak. And so one of the tweaks we have in that errata was that the demon 5-up ward save is applicable all the time. They don't lose it if the opponent has magic weapons.
You know what's fun
And
about
just
that, Mike?
one tweak
Is that the
was enough
yeah?
for demons to start showing up to our events again.
You know what's fun about that, Mike? The greater demons have a 4-up ward save that's active all the time.
Ooh, even spicy.
That is
But
hard to
not
get
spicy
through.
enough. Well,
So
his
I
greater
played,
demon did
I
die
played
most
Michael
of the
game
games, I
1,
believe.
so I can tell you basically what happened there. So he had a Keeper of Secrets as his general with illusion. You just have to have a level 4 with illusion. You just have to be lucky. You just have to be lucky and roll Doppelganger because you don't have Lore Familiar. You just have to roll it. And he did roll it. So he had Doppelganger and Miasma Mirage. And Calm of Crystal. He just rolled all of the good spells. It was great. And then he took Glittering Robe. And he had Glittering Robe most of the game. So my Weapon Skill 7 Prince on Dragon and the Weapon Skill 7 Dragon were both hitting him on 5s when we were fighting him. That was hard.
Ouch.
Then he had 2 units of, I think, something like 20 or maybe 24 were they the Slanesh, the Demonettes. Demonettes of Slanesh.
Demonettes. Yeah, big bricks of the Demonettes.
Yep. So that was kind of his core bricks there. And then he had a unit of 18 or so Bloodletters as well.
He also had Beast of Nurgle too.
Yeah, so he had 4 Beasts of Nurgle. So Beasts of Nurgles are a really goofy unit because they actually do D6 attacks with Killing Blow. They're kind of weird, and they have like toughness 5 and regen. So very hard to chew through, and that was the unit he chose to ambush in that scenario. We were allowed to ambush 2 extra units, so he chose to ambush them, and that was a big problem to deal with because otherwise they'd be really slow. But because he ambushed them, big problem to deal with. And then that was almost it. But he did have the Screamers, or no, the Flamers of Tzeentch, which are, ouch. They are 2 wounds each. They're toughness 4, but the main thing is they're Bliss skill 4 with a D3 shots, strength 4, AP 2 weapon or something like that. So they were just sniping away at my elves all game. In fact, Corhill ended up outside of his unit of Whitelands once, which was a big mistake, and he was able to fly behind me with his flamers, and because no other unit was closer, he was able to just shoot all the flamers into Corhill and murder him.
Oh, that probably smelled really bad.
Yeah, so for us to turn around and never put Corhill out of the unit because of that, it was very, because I could have just been in the unit and I would have been fine. But Oh well.
Yeah, so really exciting list, and
Yeah.
we know there were other demon players too, and we have a lot of demon players. We also had, again, we'll talk about it more later. We also had Lizardman, and so
Mhm.
again, definitely great to see that. Just we're trying to make just enough tweaks to for those legacy factions to see a lot more excitement and energy at the events, and we're definitely seeing a whole bunch of that. So very excited. We'll talk about the different
Yeah.
episodes. So that was third place again.
Well, and just
Congratulations
to
to
point
Michael.
out that a lot of demon players bring furies and no
Mhm.
ranked up units at all, and he brought a lot of ranked up units, and he got third place because you know what? You can score a lot of objective points if you just have some ranked up demonettes and stuff, and I guess proving that demons can hang with the big boys at least a little bit. You know, that's
Mhm.
pretty cool. I like it a lot. I think the five
It's
up ward all the time is great.
part of the game. All right, now fourth place. Fourth
Well,
place, almost so close to third place, but fourth place is still fantastic, Evan. So tell us what you brought this time.
all right, so I brought the Tracian Warhost, um, and I name all my characters because of course I do. Calidor the
Hmm.
Forsaken this time around. I really like this build right now. So I've got the full plate shield, dragon helm, so I have a 2+ armor save. I buy the Seed of Rebirth, so I have the regen. The Opal Amulet is the one time only 2+ ward save, which I usually use on a dragon slaying hit, like a monster slaying hit, or a cannonball. And I use it on a
Hmm.
cannonball in one game and on a bolt thrower on game two. Very, very cool. But the thing that I really like is the Star Lance. The Star Lance is tons of fun because then when I get to charge, I'm like, oh baby, because the Star Lance is Strength +3, AP4. Yes, I love that because it's AP2 is great. AP2 is fine, but you know what? The other person can just have a 2+ armor save and they just have a whole bunch of 4-ups. They can just pass all of them. But you know what? If you're AP4, you got nothing. You know, you barely ever get anything versus that, and that's tons of fun. I love that a lot. I often cast
Hmm.
Fury of Cain for my high magic wizard onto this guy. Now he's got the 5 attacks, and so does their dragon has a 7th attack. Amazing.
Hmm.
But the key feature here is I put a burning blade on this guy because in my last
Oh
game
yeah.
before the tournament, I was charged in the flank by a Karen Wraith and could do nothing at all against him. So I put a burning blade on him.
Ah, serves you right. Go vampires. Um,
So the
cool.
next
What
theme
else?
that I take is the Archmage level 4 with high magic because I'm playing high elves. Got to take high magic, right? But here's the
It's a
kicker:
fun lore.
Shadow Stalker. All right, Shadow Stalker Archmage in Shadow Warriors is so freaking good and fun. It is both because when you have a Feigned Flight Scouting Wizard, oh boy, the things you can do. I love it.
Shenanigans. Shenanigans.
First of all, I
Yep.
deploy my wizard after I see where all your wizards are. So I can either be in dispel range or out of dispel range, whatever the hell I want. Secondly, I've got a little unit of guys that I'm going to hang out with, and they let me have feigned flight against any trying to charge that you go against me. And the most important part about that is I can flee your charge, auto rally, and then on my turn I kill, still cast the enchantments and hexes. Wonderful.
Yeah. Very annoying.
And
Yep.
then I took Corhill because I'm playing Trace, and he's
Yeah.
cool.
And he's awesome. That's why.
So Corhill is better than any high elf prince on foot you can build, I think, because he's got the 4 attacks with Fury's Charge, weapon
Yeah.
skill 7. He still has the 3 wounds. He's got some regen, but he has Killing Blow on all his attacks, and he rerolls ones.
Yep.
Love it.
The rerolls ones in particular is very very nice to have.
And he's also very high initiative, so he strikes at initiative with his like initiative 7 if he gets charged or anything. So he
Hmm.
sits in my white lion unit, and you charge me, and he kills you before you get to kill any of my white lions, and then the white lions kill you.
Yeah. He's beef. He's beefy. Hmm.
Yeah, I think in game 1 he was able to like Killing Blow the other guy's BSB. That was great. Then I got in core, you got the White Lions, so you could take them as core. I put the Ring of
Hmm.
Fury on these guys so that I could cast that and do some fighting, and I put the Rampaging Banner. Neither of them really worked well for me because, first of all, I would often just die or eat the challenge before that would happen, or I would get shot with a lot of magic missiles, so Loremaster Cloak probably be better. Rampaging Banner's on here so that if you charge, you actually want to freaking get there. And if you charge, you really want to make it because if you fail the charge, you're just ugh. And then I've got archers here because elven archers are actually pretty good. They're only 10 points each. They have banners. They hold my objectives for me. They killed a lot of Empire Knights in game 3. They killed a lot of Squig Hoppers in game 2. They did okay versus demons.
Yep.
And then I brought 2 lion chariots because lion chariots. And they did
Because
great.
they're awesome.
They're fine. As long as the other person doesn't have cannonballs blowing them up, they're fine. I think
Hmm.
they do well above their weight. In fact, one of my games, I put Fury of Cain on a Lion Chariot, and I charged it right into Demigryph Knights, who, because of the redirect, they weren't able to countercharge. And I was able to kill 2 Demigryph Knights with impact and the attacks of the unit before they got to hit me. So I killed 2 of the 5 Demigryph Knights before they went to swing.
That's huge.
That's a
Yeah,
380 point Demogryph Knight unit that I killed half of it with a 125 point chariot.
with a single chariot charge.
Yeah, with a single chariot.
Okay, well, you rolled very well
I got 5
to do.
impact hits, and well, the main thing, Mike, is Fury of King gives you +1 attack on all 4 models in the unit. So both, so that you go from 2 attacks to 3 attacks with the
Yeah,
lions,
and
and
the
then
lion attacks are definitely significantly better than a horse by a mile. So,
the
yep, it
lion.
adds up.
Yeah, the Creation Great Blade is an AP3 great weapon. So the guys on the back are Strength 6 AP3.
Right, they're wielding great weapons, yeah. So I mean, you still have to roll decently well, but that's again, they have tons of potential. Again, chariots are, in particular, the Chaos chariots. I think the Creation chariots, these heavy chariots in the game are very powerful. I think we're just not seeing as much of them because so much of the meta has been focused on the MSU, the skirmish avoidance. But I think now that, again, similar to what we see with objective-based scenarios, we're going to see significantly more bricks of infantry because they can score so many points by holding the objectives. We're going to start seeing templates come back and have a lot more use. I think we're going to start seeing chariots come back. I think a lot of the things that had been put on the shelf because they weren't very effective versus the small MSU skirmishing meta list, as soon as we start opening up the rosters that people are bringing, I think we're going to see a lot of those things that got
Yeah.
parked on the shelf are going to have new life, and I love seeing them on the battlefield.
Chariots are great versus infantry. If you flank with a heavy chariot, they get no ranks now. Amazing.
Ouch.
Yeah,
Ouch.
one of these chariots charged 20 demonettes in the flank after they had like just fought the dragon for a turn, and after 5 rounds of combat, the chariot killed all the demonettes.
Yeah. Eventually chew through them.
Yeah.
All right, what else did you bring?
And the 10 Shadow Warriors who have Feign Flight, love it, my favorite rule in the game, and Chariot Runners. So
Great
what
combo.
I did all game is I would scout my wizard and the Shadow Warriors up in the front wherever I wanted to be, cast Walk Between Worlds when I was out of dispel range, in dispel range, whatever, and then I would either reserve move back into dispel range or back out of dispel range, whatever I wanted, and then I would just sit my chariots right behind there so that if you tried to come close to my Shadow Warriors, then I would charge you with the chariots. If you charge the Shadow Warriors, they flee and they automatically rally, no problem. So if you charge from far away, I'm good. If you charge from up close, then my chariots can counter you.
Yep. Super fun.
It was
All
super
right,
great.
cool.
I loved
So, yeah, again, it did really well. Well done, Evan. Almost there. I'm pretty confident you're going to be on the podium next time. But it's also fun to see, again, a non-Grand Army list, to see this variant list, and to see some of these other characters. And it did perform very well, which is really exciting. So hopefully we're going to see more of that variety in the future. And I think that's the main thing we're hoping to see, again, with the objective-based scenarios, is seeing more Army list variety, maximize the fun that both players are having. And I think we're already starting to seeing a fantastic turn towards that direction. So hopefully that will continue. All right. So that kind of wraps up our last RTT. Very excited to the events. Again, congratulations to Andrew and the other winners. Evan, any last words before we wrap this one up?
No, not at all.
Okay. We'll see you all next time. Thanks, everybody. Bye.